All right, everyone, this video is going to be about my top 10 hotel tips, especially for families that are traveling on a road trip. All right, that's a relatively narrow category, but there's still a lot of tips that apply. It's not going to be about camping, Airbnb, bed and breakfasts, vacation rentals and things like that. So that's not what we're talking about here. It's pretty narrowly tips about hotels and motels, and really even a little bit more narrow as you're traveling across the country. So these sort of apply if you're going to a particular destination and you're going to stay there a week and then you're going to come home. You can maybe use some of them for that too, but they're really more for staying one night, 2 nights, you're traveling around, you're hitting lots of spots, you're covering a decent amount of miles across the country. I think these tips will really help, especially if you have a family. We have 2 kids ages 7 and 5 right now, and we've traveled with them when they were younger than that as well. Full disclosure, I work at a Hilton property. I worked on the weekends for a few years now. So this isn't really designed to promote Hilton in any way over any other hotel brand or independent brand. If I mention them a little bit more, their properties a little bit more, it's just because I'm more familiar with them, and I stay at them a little bit more. I think that's all on that front. Let's get into the tips. Tip number 1. If you don't reserve your hotel rooms ahead of time, make a list of all the potential places that you might stay on your route. Now that sounds like a lot of work. If you kind of know where the overnight towns are, you should at least have kind of a range of, say, a couple 100 miles or 150 miles where along that stretch is probably where you're going to be looking for a hotel, and then know what type of hotel that know what you're looking for in your hotel, whether it's a certain review level or certain amenities that your hotel needs to have for your particular family. Tip number 2, be aware of the events and the high-low periods of the area that you're wanting to travel. So, or the peak and the low season, high season and the low season. Not every place has this, but a lot of them do. There's kind of 2 or 3 different types of ways to think about this. You have, in some areas, a high season and a low season. When I worked in Virginia Beach, the high season was between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and the Monday of Labor Day, the price of a hotel room could drop 70% between that Sunday night and that Monday night. So pretty dramatic difference between high season and low season. You want to be aware, if you can, whether you're going in high season through a particular area or low season. Second thing to think about is whether there are any events going on. And a lot of times these events can be relatively small, but they can have a big impact on the local hotel availability and the local hotel prices. Here in Iowa, we have the Iowa State Fair in the summertime. Maybe normally you wouldn't expect a Sunday night in August in Des Moines to be a particularly hard place to find a hotel, or a Monday. But if you come during the Iowa State Fair, you're going to be paying triple the price probably, and with no availability. So be aware if you can, or just check a little bit ahead of time. You can even call hotels and just ask them if you know a specific night or 2 that you're going to be staying there, to get a feel for if there are big events going on during that time. And you can just ask them whether they're generally busy that time to get a feel ahead of time, to know whether you really need a reservation or not. So one other aspect of this is the day of the week that you're traveling. If you're going to an expensive area, or you're traveling through a popular area, The day of the week can be really important in terms of saving yourself some money or just finding a hotel room. Sunday nights are what you want to aim for the most expensive places or the most popular destinations that you're traveling. Give you an example from our upcoming trip. We're traveling through Las Vegas. We're not going out to any shows. We're not gambling or anything probably. But I thought it'd be cool for them to just get to see it. However, when I went to reroute my trip, I noticed that put us in Vegas on a Saturday. If you're traveling through Vegas with your family, you know, if you have a reasonable budget that you're trying to stay in, Saturday night in Vegas in March is not when you want to go. The NCAA basketball tournament is happening during that time. A lot of people there gambling. A lot of people are there having fun. And those weekends are just packed. So like the cheapest room is, you know, close to $200 probably. Maybe not the cheapest room, but you're going to pay a lot more money for your rooms. We wanted to travel on a Sunday. The price difference between Saturday night and Sunday for us was about $150. So I ended up just taking an extra day in Utah and just hanging out there kind of on our route, just simply so we could go through on a day that wasn't so expensive. So we'll be spending Sunday night in Vegas. And that principle applies almost everywhere. Sundays are the night to aim for in your expensive cities. So know what day of the week you're traveling and aim for those off days of the week. Typically it's Sunday. Sometimes it can be different days, but if you have to go to an expensive area, try to go through on a Sunday. Okay, tip number 3, don't pay in advance unless it's like the day you're going to arrive. And so by paying in advance, what I mean is there's a couple different ways. When you make a reservation and you give them your credit card, typically places do not charge your credit card to hold a room on your credit card. However, if you book through a third party, or in some cases, they'll offer, hotel chains will offer discounted rates for you to pay in advance. In these cases, they may give you a lower rate, but they actually charge you and take your money ahead of time. Try to avoid that if you can, especially try to avoid it through a third party in advance when you're making your reservations. Now, if it's the day of, if you're on your way there, if you're outside in the parking lot of the hotel and you get on your phone or something, or you get online and you go to, I don't know, hotels.com or something, and you notice that if you pay cash, you get a 20% discount or something, and you're absolutely sure you're going to be there, go ahead and take advantage of it, you know, and get that discount because you know you're going to be there. But if you give your money in advance to any of these companies, it's really a lot more difficult to get your money back from them if somebody gets sick, if your car breaks down, if anything happens, basically. And if you have multiple nights, I mean, it just exacerbates the problem. If you never, ever, 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 ever pay for a week upfront in advance. I mean, it's just crazy. So many things can happen, and you risk losing a lot of money, or giving yourself a lot of headaches trying to get your money back if anything comes up. So just don't do that. It's usually not worth the discount unless you're really sure you're going to be there. Typically, I would say even have it be a one-night stay. So even multiple nights, I would not ever pay advance. It's usually not worth the discount compared to the risk. Tip number 4, try to find places that include breakfast with your rate, or at least take that into your, each family's different. Maybe some families don't eat breakfast, but at least take that into the calculation that you're doing when you try to figure out, how much you're willing to pay for a room. I almost always try to get breakfast. I mean, that saves us $20 basically every place we stay. So if you're on a 2-week trip, you're talking $300 or something like that. So over the course of the trip. So I always try to find a place that includes breakfast if I can. I also try to look for a pool for the kids mainly, but I like to sit in the hot tub too after I've been driving all day long. So typically I look for, almost always I look for an indoor pool, even if it's someplace south, unless it's in the summertime. But typically if we're traveling across the southern part of the country, it's in the wintertime, January, February, March. And even in southern Florida, I mean, it was only, you know, the pool water is sometimes only like 60 degrees or something like that. It can be pretty cool. So I try to aim for indoor pools wherever I can. If not, I try to make sure they have a hot tub if everything's outdoors, because at least then the hot tub water will be warm. It's kind of nice to sit out there, even if it's a cool night in the hot water. So that's something that I always try to aim for with families. It's really a good parental tool, I guess. Our typical pattern that we try to get to is to get to the hotel, you know, at a reasonable amount of time, a couple hours before the pool closes. And then we get everything loaded in, and we can take the kids down to the pool, and they can run and get their energy out, swim. You know, we can relax a little bit, and then we can take them up and put them to bed, and they get some of that energy built, you know, out that they've been building up in the car all day. So it helps on keeping them in control a little bit in the hotel room. Tip number 5, take advantage of these hotel or even website loyalty programs. I was looking at hotels.com the other day. If you book 10 stays through them, you get the 11th one free. So I didn't look into the details of that. You always want to look into the details, but Hilton Honors program is good. Marriott has a rewards program. Starwood, I think those are the 3 big ones. You can obviously check and see if you have a particular hotel chain that you like. Definitely sign up for the program. Most of them are free. And now I know with Hilton's program, you don't even need to stay at a Hilton to sign up. You can just go to their website and sign up. The other good thing about that, at least with Hilton's new program, is if you know anybody that works for Hilton, even part-time, they get discounted rooms that they can give to friends and family each year. I get 30 of them. And right now their new program is 50% off. So, you know, if one of my family members, just all they have to do is sign up to the program and give me a call or email, and I can add them in, and they can go book everything themselves, find out what's available, and they get half off, which is, you know, a lot of money. The other thing is, with regard to this, is they usually have, you know, branded credit cards and stuff that you can earn points onto for hotel stays. Again, the big ones, Starwood, I've seen looks pretty good. Hilton Honors, I think, has an American Express, and I'm sure Marriott has one too. I'm not sure. They might be aligned with Chase. I have to double check that, but you know, check it out and just think about, you know, which ones you like best and which ones you're more likely to use the most, and choose one of those loyalty programs. Again, most of them are totally free. It's just basically people giving you free stuff to try to get you to stay at their place. So definitely use that to your advantage.